Monologue 43, Fellowship. This pillar of your inner temple is perhaps the most vital and the most difficult to raise. Without fellowship, a lone seeker is very likely to wither away and fall prey to every godless and unholy diversion of the harlot and the beast. With fellowship, mutual edification, the faithful one is likely to remain in a faithful condition. Without even knowing it, the vast majority of people go through their lives seeking belonging, a place and a people where they fit. People often, however unconsciously, adapt their thinking and worldview to better fit in. As this work is completed and begins to take root in the consciousness of men, during and after the year of the galactic alignment, you who are among the first fruits will find yourselves alone against the entire world. The religious and the non-religious alike will critique, mock, despise, and even seek to take your life. This revealing will offend most and be received joyously by a tiny minority of the human species. As it gains adherents, so the number of its critics and sworn foes will increase, and the vanities will become increasingly concerned with the spread of its message, turning much effort to slandering and silencing these teachings. In tyrannical lands, these words will be outlawed utterly, and you, the children of the Most High, will be hunted, arrested, tortured, and killed. In less extreme nations, you will be watched, and there is no way to completely hide your affiliation or your numbers. But do not make it easy. The media, the defenders of the popular culture, the champions of Babylon, the sons and the daughters of the beast, will yearn for your blood and will howl for your desolation. They will seek to lure you into pointless debate and endlessly seek to persuade you to change your hearts and minds, return to the false gods. The religious will deem these words a satanic heresy, just as their sacred words were originally considered satanic heresy. Indeed, just as the different monotheists call each other satanic in the present day. I have said before, and I will say again, do not be seduced into arguments and baited into debates, for such things are pointless prattle and exercises in futility. Those who believe will believe, and those who do not will not. All you can do is seek to make available the message to as many as can be reached, allowing each individual to decide to accept or reject what is revealed. Each must decide or decline on their own, for to force belief is useless, and to impose it is meaningless. In time you may succeed in claiming a nation and running up your flag over it, and tailor then your laws to reflect these teachings. Yet even then every citizen, upon coming of age, must choose to obey the laws or not to obey them. But none should be forced to believe in the God behind the laws, and indeed you cannot force such belief. Obedience to the moral laws is enough. O reader, I speak to you alone in what I say. If you are solitary in your acceptance, your road will certainly not be an easy one to walk. By the strength of your will and the level of your self-discipline, you will rise or fall, and there is none to help you find fellowship but you yourself. In the 7 monotheisms and the sects thereof, you may find some support and edification for your faith. Yet each will seek to convince you of their superiority, and most will dismiss these teachings as fallacy and deception, or outright heresy. In the mystical ways of Sufism, in Martinism, Kabbalah, or Gnosticism, you may discover a limited degree of fellowship without having to compromise your own truth. Though the westernized and modern versions of these mystic paths have compromised with the beast and the harlot, and have sold their souls for popularity and public acceptance. Nevertheless, their fundamental instructions can be of great benefit to you, and many of their members are sincere followers of the Emmanuel, the Christ light as it is often called in such circles. Infiltrate and transform the system. You yourself, O Urian, will determine the success or failure of the faith as a force for change in the world, to transform the world into the kingdom. Action or inaction, there are 1,000 choices every day to do right or wrong. choosing to pander and appease the children of the beast in Babylon, or to take your stand, whether in silent defiance or bold statements of your view, without debate. I ask every Urian in the work of creating fellowship to give at least 7 ordinary people this message through the course of your life on earth. Deliver the revealing anonymously, and then watch to see if there is any effect. Moreover, anonymously send or deliver 7 copies of this revealing to 7 religions, social and/or political leaders, whether local, provincial, national, or international. Many are those leaders among humankind who start out idealistic and sincere, and wind up corrupted and hypocritical, having sold their souls to gain the love of the world. There are those who take a stand for what is right and good in the beginning, but succumb to the popular culture and compromise in order to win popularity. Indeed, many are the revolutionaries who, once in power, become the very tyrants they once fought against. If you have made up your mind and heart to strive in the way of spirit and truth, then steel your inner being and do not relent. Life is a moment, and death is no end, and what you do in life will reverberate through the unending time that follows. The churches of the 7 monotheisms have become increasingly hollow, with shallow gospels and empty rituals preached and performed without depth. Like automatons, the religious go through the motions, without any sincere understanding or depth of passion. Watered down, rife with irrelevant divisions, more concerned with doctrine than with truth, and willing to mock, fight, and kill to maintain their ignorance. I tell you true, let your congregations be filled with passion and loving conduct. Sing praises unto the one, bow with vigor, pray with intense emotion, sit in circles and meditate, facing one another. Do not rush through your meetings. Rather, let comfortable chairs be arranged in rings, and let food and drink be shared among you. Speak among yourselves as family, sharing a word of wisdom or visions obtained in meditation. Let those who share be open to interpretation, and let those who serve most be the leaders among you. Encourage one another in faith, hope, and truth, according to the will of divine love. Wash yourselves beforehand, and let every man and woman don the robes of their pillar and the sash of their order, so that none may be elevated above another by the cost of their attire. Men and women are equal among you, but children are to remain silent until the age of maturity, frontal lobe development, save in gatherings intended for the education of the young. Hugs should always be plentiful in your midst, and none should discriminate on the basis of wealth or social class, race or ethnicity. Love one another for God's sake. Let all pretenses be put aside, for in the assembly all are equal, save by their works and service to the faith. They are entitled to their wealth, even as they should know well their responsibility in God, to share and assist their fellows, each according to the calling of their heart. In the same way, let not the rich and the educated separate themselves from the poor and downcast. Uplift and encourage each other. Cleanliness is always wise, and keeping your robes clean is respectful. Although the length of a man or woman's hair is of no consequence, neither the sporting of a beard or no beard at all. Such things are superficial, and it is your heart that I search. As long as your hair and beard are clean, so be it. And if you wear rags, do not let that deter you from being among your brothers and sisters. The leaders among you are to gently rebuke and reprove those who seek to introduce divisive controversies, or those who cling to daydreams and fantasies rather than the truth. Moreover, you will find that the children of the beast and Babylon will come among you, masquerading as servants of the light of truth, with an agenda to divide and conquer you, and argue endlessly until they succeed in bringing you around to the way of the world, and the acceptance of the abominations of the harlot. Shut such ones down immediately, for who is anyone to argue with God's viewpoint and will, or with the teachings of the archangels? In contradiction to the will of the world, I tell you to favor one another, to show bias toward your own, and to place the family of the Spirit before unbelieving biological family. I do not say forsake your biological family, and none have the right to tell you to do such a thing. For who knows if an unbeliever might be brought to the faith by the patient and righteous example of a compassionate believer? Jesus' own biological family did not believe until after his resurrection. Indeed, I tell you and warn you sternly, if any leader among you tells you that he or she is a god, a goddess, or declares him or herself a prophet or the Messiah, rebuke that person firmly, and if they persist, then turn your back and walk away. A leader among you who says that you must give him your wife to lie with, or says to a wife that she must commit adultery with the leader, and that God has commanded it so, should be harshly treated and driven out as a disciple of hell. I ask you each to give according to your means, to enrich and uplift the whole of your fellowship, whether in money, time, or skill. Yet let no one tell you that you must bankrupt yourself to provide for their luxury. Neither let any priest or priestess among you receive from you more than what is necessary for their survival and very modest living. Those drawn to leadership in the faith by the desire for wealth and luxury are servants of mammon. I do not say, however, that a servant of God may not have wealth. I do not say to give all your possessions to the poor, for mine is the middle path. I tell you rather that balance is the key in all things. A priest or priestess, a minister of the way, is entitled and encouraged to make their living by other means, to have a second job, as it were, each according to their skills and talents. Indeed, I would see every seeker of the way of the Spirit of truth educate him or herself and obtain a sound vocation, in order that they may care for their earthly needs and thereby not be distracted in their spiritual devotions. I would have you work for and hire others of your faith, and suggest that you should keep counsel among yourselves. However, if you hire someone of your faith to work for you, and that person seeks to take advantage and intentionally abuses the privilege, then make known your grievances authentically. Feel no guilt in dismissing such an employee without allowing that incident to prevent you from favoring another brother or sister in the future. I call you not only to labor together and pray together, but to play together also. Go to movies, meet for coffee, create your own sport teams for casual fun, and live your lives as one community. When your time of group devotions is concluded, why not linger and watch a game or a rented show? Or why not turn prayer meetings into picnics and hiking trips? Moreover, if you would truly create the kingdom of God manifested on earth, then you must congregate geographically and consolidate your efforts. Those who are called to priesthood should indeed create seminaries, monasteries, communal colonies, where married, childless couples may dwell together and labor together in mind, body, and spirit for the common good. When a Urian government appears upon the earth, which is balanced and righteous before God, in accordance with the 20 laws and the teachings of this revealing, all support should be given to it by the faithful, from wherever they may be in the world. Indeed, it would be good and right for Urians to begin to migrate there, and for that regime to expedite the citizenship of its true people. Again I say unto you, blend in and do not stand out. Build bridges between yourselves and the faithful of the other 7 monotheisms, and with the mystical sects thereof. Do not dress yourselves oddly when out among the children of the world, and do not be lured into pointless debate. As the modern state of Israel was founded, so also an eventual Urian nation shall arise through infiltration, migration, consolidation, covert preparations, and then a general uprising, once you have the people in key positions of any given government and military structure. Try and try again. Never give up and never give in.